ko bubiri era ne bakwata nti otissa abantu babiri kati abo yali badalongoosa naga nti oba abantu bakulu oba nikisinzira oba naye ku bintu byoba otisse kati ng'ebyo ebiwanvu.
Logbook gye bakuwa erimu license to carry one passenger. PSV gye bakuwa ekukkiriza okutika omuntu ogwo ne third party ekukkiriza okutika muntu ogwo. Siraba lwaki gwe oba oteyako abantu ababiri ku ppiki nga naawe oba okimanyi.
Naye tebannaluba anti n'aba-KCCA bwe basisinkanya akakiiko k'amateeka mu palamenti okukubaganya ebirowoozo ku kukendeeza omugetteko mu kibuga okugobamu ababodaboda kyekibadde ku mwanjo.
You are talking of 54,000. There are too many. Can we work on decongesting the city as the Honorable Annette has said?
Very interestingly, even the border fellows themselves want this fixed because they either lose their limbs, shed blood, even themselves.
Kati twamala okuziregisteringa era kati tucha planninga n'abalala nga poliisi kati kweri n'abalala abazikulira tulabe engeri gye kitambuzamu okugenda mu maaso. Naye nga bwe muwulidde bannaffe batugaidinga ebyo byonna bye boogedde tugenda kubikonsideringa nga bwe tuplanninga.
Bino ebijjidde nga KCCA eteekateeka kusalawo babodaboda bameka abanakkirizibwa okukolera mu kibuga mu kaweefube w'okumalawo omugotteko. Irene Namyalo, NTV.
Webale nnyo Irene Namyalo. Kitegeerekese olwaleero ng'ekibiina ekifuzi ki NRM bwe kyolekedde okukubwa mu mbuga z'amateeka lwa kulemererwa kusasula ssente za bupangisa. Ana Nile Travel Agencies nga be bavunaanyizibwa ku kizimbe NRM kyepangisa wali e Nakasero ku Kyaddondo Road bagamba nti babanja obukadde 360 kyokka Ssaabawandiisi w'ekibiina John Patrick Amama Mbabazi agamba nti ensonga zino azimanyi era zaakukolebwako.
Aba Nile Travel Agencies nga bano bavunaanyizibwa ku kizimbe kino NRM kyepangisa bategeeza nga bagenda okukuba ekibiina kino mu mbuga z'amateeka olunaku lw'enkya. Bano babisizza mu bannamateeka baabwe Abatumusiime ne Kabega. Bagamba nti okuva mu Novemba 2011 NRM badde tesasula ssente wadde nga bazze babajjukiza okumala ekiseera. Endagaano gye bakola yali yakusasula obukadde 10 buli mwezi. Okuva ku olwo n'okutuusa nga 27 January ekibiina bakibanja obukadde obusukka 300 kuno nga kuliko n'omusolo gwa VAT. Kati bano baagala NRM sasule ssente zino ng'eteekamu n'amagoba ga bitundu 2 ku buli 100. Bannamateeka bano bagamba nti bagezezzaako nga basobola okubanja ssente zino naye nga buteerere. Kyokka Ssaabawandiisi w'ekibiina kya NRM Amama Mbabazi ategeeza abakungu ba NRM okuva mu disitulikiti ez'enjawulo olwaleero nti akimanyi bulungi ng'ekibiina bwe kirina amabanja omuli n'okusasula ssente z'obupangisa era nga byonna bakubikolako.
I know what you face out there. You are supposed to have offices. Many of you don't. Or even when you have them, you live under harassment by landlords to pay rent.
Gunasuga mundi ogusoose kubanga waliwo ne ofiisi z'ekibiina kino ezimu mu bitundu ebyenjawulo ezigaddwawo olw'okubanjibwa ssente z'obupangisa.
NTV akawungeze. Oluvannyuma lw'ebigambibwa nti waliwo abantu 6 abaafa mu ddwaliro ekkulu e Mulago olw'ebbula lya oxygen, waliwo akakiiko ka Parliament akakiiko akateereddwawo okunoonyereza ku nsonga eno. Minisita w'ebyobulamu Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda yategeezezza Parliament olwaleero kyokka ab'e Mulago bavuddeyo ku bannabyabufuzi abavuddeyo ku nsonga eno ne bagamba nti bali ku byabulimba byennyini.
Olwaleero Parliament ezzeemu okukwaza emirimu oluvannyuma lw'okuwummula akaseera mu babaddewo olwaleero mwe mubadde n'ababaka abaagobwa mu kibiina kya NRM nga baaniriziddwa mu kusaakaanya. Emu ku nsonga ezanjudde olwaleero mwe mubadde eky'eddwaliro ly'e Mulago obutaba na oxygen ng'omubaka wa Lubaga North Moses Kasibante yalumiriza. Ono agamba nti waliwo n'abantu 6 abaafa.
Nga bafa omulundi gumu. Eddwaliro ly'e Mulago teririna oxygen, eddwaliro ekkulu mu ggwanga lyonna. National Referral Hospital abantu ne bateekebwa ku oxygen tubes ng'abasawo balimba bulimbi okutuusa lwe bajja ne babajjako tubes ne babategeeza nti wano tewaliwo oxygen. Omukka gw'obulamu gwe mukka ogusingayo okubanga gwetaagibwa mu nsi yonna olw'obulamu.
Kasibante ategeezezza nti kyennyamiza nnyo eddwaliro ly'e Mulago bwe liba nga lituuse ku kino.
Gavumenti ya Uganda eteeka okuvayo ennyonnyole oba eddwaliro ly'e Mulago lyafuuka kattiro ng'abantu abagendayo baba bagenze kugenda mu kufa nga lyafuuka magombe. Kubanga tetusobola kubanga eddwaliro ekkulu mu ggwanga erisooka okufuna buli kimu ekirina okujjanjaba abantu. lituuka okuba nga terina mukka gwa bulamu oxygeni.
Kyokka minisita w'ebyobulamu Dr. Ruhakana Rugunda ayanukudde mangu n'ategeeza nga bwe yawulidde ku nsonga eno era n'ateekawo okunoonyereza okukulirwa avunaanyizibwa ku by'obujjanjabi mu minisitule eno.
Headed by the Director General Health Services, Dr. Jenna Chen, to investigate circumstances under which this tragic loss may have taken place. And we do expect that by the end of today, we will have at least a preliminary report.
Ye omwogezi w'eddwaliro ly'e Mulago Enoch Kusaasira agambye nti ebyogeddwa omubaka Kasibante bya butaliimu nti era bigendererwako okwonoona linnya lya ddwaliro lino.
Ekyo si kituufu okuba kati tulina ekyuma ekikola oxygen. Tumaze emyaka 2 n'ekyuma kino era buli ssaawa tuba tutwala silinda za oxygen ku ward, especially ku ward ezo ezitutalinako oxygen points. Kati bona abo bali oxygen kino kivoogerako nti bali basharinga oxygen. Okusharinga oxygen kiri okay. Tuyinza kufuna silinda yonna ya oxygen n'ogiteekako omuntu omu.
NTV akawungezi gavumenti ya kuno ebyabakongo abagudde mu nnyanja Mutanzige ebitadde ku mukulembeze w'ennono mu kitundu ky'Ekkongo ayitibwa His Eminence Bamukoka eyayisizza ebiranga eby'okumukumu ku radio ng'ayita abakongo bonna abali mu nkambi z'ababundabunda okudda ku butaka. Gavumenti egamba nti n'olwekyo tekyavudde ku bbula lya mmere ng'abantu abamu bwe baziba bitebya. Minisita w'ebigwa bitalaze Hilary Onek agamba nti entegeka zikolebwa okulaba nga bano bazzibwa ku butaka.
Ku lw'omukagala ssabbiiti ewedde abakongo abaali badduse mu nkambi y'ekyangwali nga badda ewaabwe baagwa mu nnyanja eryato lyatabuka era nga wetwogerera emirambo egisukka mu 100 egyakanyululwa. Abantu abasukka 40 be baasomatuka akabenje kano nga kigambibwa nti eryato lyayitisa abantu abasukka mu 150. Abakongo bano baagamba nti kyali kibajje mu nkambi kwe kubanga baali bayisibwa bubi nga tewali mmere na ddagala bwe bati basalawo okudda ewaabwe gyababafiira. Gavumenti ya kuno olwaleero evuddeyo omusango n'ekutaba ku mukulembeze omuwendo ne Congo ayitibwa His Eminence Bamukona eyayisa ebirango ku leedi ez'enjawulo ng'ayita abakongo bano bakomewo eka kubanga embeera yali eteredde.
He further made it clear that a number of non-governmental organizations were at Kamango to provide for them the necessary settlement packages. Besides that, an IDP camp had been established to assist those who left unsafe, who felt unsafe to return deep inside the Democratic Republic of Congo.
Government iregama nti abantu basenguka kuba kyangwalirwa mmere kubanga yaliwo.
It is not true that refugees are fleeing due to lack of food. Indeed, those involved in the boat accident were the new caseloads of 100% food ration.
Tunateseka kule Kiangwali kabisa, njaa na magonjwa. Angao basi nikufie kule kwa zuu, mina isa teseka sana, nikuwe wakukufa angao basi nikufe na mina naenda basi.
Minisita Onek ategeeza gavumenti bweri mu nteeseganya ne gavumenti ya Congo ssaako ekibiina ky'amawanga amagatte ekivunaanyizibwa ku nsonga z'ababundabunda okulaba engeri abakongo bano gye basobola okudda ku butaka.
NTV akawungezi bo abakulira eddwaliro ly'e Bundibujjo bategeezezza nti babadde ku ssaawa ya Kanayo cyane mu kiseera emirambo gy'abakongo abagudde mu nnyanja Mutanzige we gyatwaliddwa mu ddwaliro lyabwe. Bano abagamba nti eggwanika lyabwe lyakolerwa emirambo 4 gyokka tebalina firiji ennyogoza mirambo so nga n'ennamba y'abadokita balina 2 bokka. Olwaleero waliwo emirambo emirala 2 eginyuluddwa okuva mu mazzi.
Oluvannyuma lw'akabenje akagudde ku nnyanja Albert wano we watuukira emirambo egigiba mu nnyanja. Bwe twogerera nga kati abaafudde baweze 110 era nga poliisi n'ebitongole ebirala bikyagenda mu maaso okufeffetta emirambo emirala. Mu kaseera kano emirambo 19 gyamaze dda okukwasibwa gavumenti ya Congo era nga kyakoleddwa mu kiro ekyakesezza olwaleero. Kutegeezeddwa nti eggwanika mu ddwaliro lino tono nnyo ate nga n'ebikozesebwa tebiriimu.
Mirimu girina kubeeramu ng'eno. Ruumu emu ya tuyita ba postmortem okunoonyeza ng'omuntu afudde. Ne ruumu endala we tuleka emirambo. Eddagala actually eddagala lye tulinawo yakozesebwa naddwaliro ate nga sitoko gye tulinawo si yakola ku bintu ng'ebyo.
Akulira eddwaliro ly'e Bundibujjo Dr. Chris Kaita atubuulidde bye baayise mu kaseera ak'akazigizigi nga n'abasawo tebalina.
Naye kati nga wano tuliwo badokitazi babiri abo bandulinga eddwaliro eddamba, tulina kubeera dokita nga 12 10 abo batyo. Twakoledde wamu nga ttiimu. Abantu abakolana n'abalonyi b'obuddamu mu bitongole ebyo n'ofiisi ya Prime Minister baleese tenti asobodde okukuumira egimu mu tenti.
Dr. Kaita era agamba nti eggwanika terina fridge nga babadde tebasobola kutereka mirambo okujjako okugira nga bagikuumidde mu weema zino okutuusa nga gyekebejjeddwa.
Yadde tesobola okugiteeka wano wiiki nyamba kyadde kijja kuba kirooto. Tesobola. Eddagala lye tulinawo yakozesebwa naddwaliro ate nga sitoko gye tulinawo si yakola ku bintu ng'ebyo.
Tugenda kuwummulamu katono ddala tovaawo, sooka olabe ebimu ku byoba osuubira mu kitundu ekyokubiri. Okulondoola amasimu so nga ab'e Butambala basanyukidde Katikkiro Charles Peter Mayiga bw'abadde akuŋŋaanya ettaffaali ly'okuzzaawo amasiro.
You can bring everybody in parliament as long as they can wake up and vote for the NRM.
As long as the voters exercise their rights to elect their leaders, there was no need for term limits in Uganda.
I know him. I know how he operates. I know how he thinks.
There are ways you can go around these obstacles.
Why should I conduct myself as if I am Muyai?
It's absolutely true. I admired President Museveni.
Is the ICC a fascistic court targeting African leaders?
You cannot tell me that the whole trouble Kenya had revolved about only 2 individuals.
The money is not in the budget of this financial year.
You can't beat God. You see, God is polygamous also. Look at Jeremiah chapter 31.
The security of this country will largely depend on the contribution that the people make.
I was going to my hall, someone came from my back and was
how tugenda okwebaka ekiro yanga mwami omanyi webakeko nange omulundi gw'ogusembayo.
I went to the nurse and I asked why is it that our father is negative and for us we are positive.
Every time I find a story of assault of one person to another, I get disturbed.
Mwayombye ekiro lwaleeta suzeewo lwe bakwokezza naze poza kimu nti mujja wange yanjokezza.
Kino ekyafa kino kyali kyakulira muno mu lubuto.
The Irene I know just loves music and loves to sing. I've never seen her even smoke a cigarette.
The days of legal trade in slaves are history, following its abolition in the 1800s.
They tie you like this. That's when I started getting past.
Everybody has a story, but yours will only become our story when you share it.
Amakumi abiri zeziyise ku ssaawa emu tukyagenda maaso ne NTV akawungezi. Tuzze tukunyumiza ku nfa y'omuwala Joan Namazi ow'Enabbingo eyawambibwa oluvannyuma n'atemulwa kyokka nga wadde guli gutyo abaakola bino baasigala bakyakubira ab'eŋŋanda ze amasimu nga babatiisatiisa. Abantu bangi kino kyabakuba enkikwe n'okutuuka okwebuuza abatemu ekituufu kye baagala naki kye balowooza na lwaki poliisi teyeeyambisa nnamba z'essimu ze bakozesa okubalondoola era ne bagombamu obwala. Solomon Kaweesa atunuulidde ensonga eno na lwaki na kiki ekiwaliriza abantu okufuuka abamenyi b'amateeka.
Oluvannyuma lw'omugenzi Joan Namazi okutirimbulwa abatemu abatannaba kutegeerekeka ne gye buli eno
Abooluganda lwe batandika okusuza amatu abweru olw'abatemu bano okusigala nga babakubira amasimu agabatiisatiisa. Wabula abamenyi b'amateeka bangi abalabika okuba nga ebikolwa bye bakola ate bibanyumira, ekireeseewo endowooza mu bantu egamba nti bano bazaalibwa n'emitima egy'ekko. Abakugu mu by'endowooza z'abantu oba kannammeeme ekivunula nti psychologists bino babiwakanya.
N'omubbi no tayigiriza mwana we kubba. Okay? Naye wadde aba tamuyigiriza, omwana aba akola ki? Aba alaba taata we kyakola, engeri gy'abikolamu, n'okuba nti awaka ky'ekintu ekikkirizibwa.
Nambi era ategeezezza nti obwavu nabwo wadde nga buyinza okukoza omuntu akagiri, kyokka ate tebuyinza kukyusa mpisa ze.
Abaavu tuli bangi, naye kwegamba kiva mu mutima gwa muntu, n'okuba nti omuntu oyo engeri gye yakuzibwamu teyafuna mbeera yakwagalibwa.
Emizannyo, firimu ne puroguramu endala ezirabibwa abaana abato ku mativi ne sinema nabyo abakugu bakizudde nti bifuuse kanaaluzaala ng'omuwulwamulisa ku mmere. Gavumenti ng'eyita mu kakiiko akalungamya eby'empuliziganya yayisa ekiragiro buli munnayuganda okuwandiisa ennamba ye y'essimu. Ekigendererwa mu kino okusinga kwali kulwanyisa bumenyi bw'amateeka wabula nga kiringa ekikyalemye.
People with criminal intent did not provide true identification of themselves. They probably gave fake pictures or fake names.
Akatundu akokusatu ak'etteeka ery'okulumika amasimu erya 2007 akawaayiro akasooka kalagira butereevu emikutu gy'amasimu okukkiriza abantu ng'ab'ebyokwerinda okulumika essimu yonna gye baba baagadde nga wabaddewo obumenyi bw'amateeka. Kyokka poliisi egamba nti emikutu gy'amasimu gyennyini gibakereesa okugwa abantu bano mu buufu.
So you may not get instant data of today now. You have to wait until tomorrow. There are some companies, and if we are on that line, then it makes us delay. You may even reach the following day when the person has changed the location.
Kati okulwanyisa obumenyi bw'amateeka obw'engeri eno, poliisi egamba nti nayo yeetaaga tekinologiya omupya.
Once we enter in a telephone number, it will tell us that you are at CPS at this point of the reference using a GPS.
Solomon Kawesa, NTV Akawungezi.
NTV Akawungezi. Police Erakai ekutte abantu 3 ku kyalo Lubumba okuli Semaka ne mukyala we nga bateeberezebwa okutta omukyalo w'emyaka 21 n'omwana we ow'emyezi 9.
Kati tekannabyogera abaana ne bagamba nti taata ye yatemyetemye ne baaba. Ono maama ye yagenze yamututte ebweru nga amuwekeddeko omwana basale ebisanja. Kuba omusajja yagambye nti we bano tubeewuunya. Ku kyalo kya Kirugufe tubadde tumanyi nti abanankole munnange bali abantu n'enviiri zino wano mu mulamula. N'enviiri oziraba ggwe zino wano mu mulamula. Naffe tubeetiisizza abanankole tubavaayo olowooza. N'engoye zino agaakatunda mu ggulu.
Banzarwa tinkaryaga muntu.
Ekiro kikeseza olwaleero omukyala n'omwana w'emyezi 9 ababuziddwawo wakati mu kiro, omukyala ng'ayitibwa Kyomukama Peace n'omwana ng'ayitibwa Kaamu wa myezi 9. Mu kiseera kino abantu bano tuli kubanoonyerezaako ku misango 2 ogusooka ogw'okubuzaawo abantu betunoonyereza 2, omwana ne nnyina, na ogwa unlawful wounding olw'okuba mu kunoonyereza kwaffe tusanze awantu nga waliwo omusaayi n'engoye zaabwe nga zisuuliddwawo. So kituwa nti bayinza okuba nga babakosezza. Tukyabanoonyereza okwestablishinga oba baliwa oba balamu oba si balamu.
Mu nkola ye ey'okutikkula abantu ettaffaali ly'okuzzaawo amasiro g'e Kasubi, Katikkiro wa Buganda Charles Peter Mayiga olwaleero abadde mu bitundu by'e Butambala ng'atuuseeko mu Bulo n'Ekibibi. Mu Bulo wokka akuŋŋaanyizza obukadde 50. Katikkiro Mayiga akubiriza Abaganda okubeera obumu, okusimba emiti, okuweerera abaana wamu n'okuba abeerufu mu buli kye bakola.
ogw'obumu kabaka gwe yasookerako ng'akomyewo mu nsi ye webale akubye mu ngalo naye ate mugenda kuzikuba nnyo lwa nsonga nze mu kulaba okwange nga Katikkiro wa Buganda essaza lino ery'Ebutambala kyakulabirako nnyo eky'ensonga y'obumu.
NTV akawungezi mu mizannyo olwaleero bannantamegwa ba liigi ya University yaba Kampala University bawangudde omupiira gwabwe ogusoose mu mpaka z'omwaka guno bwe bakubye bannaabwe aba Uganda Matters University okuva Enkozi goolemu ku bwereere. Omupiira guno oguzannyiddwa ku kisaawe kya Villa Park Ensambya gwe gwokubiri aba Uganda Matters University okuwangulwa ate era nga gwe gubadde ogwokubiri eri ttiimu zombi mu league y'omwaka guno. Sampoza yakadda okuva ku kisaawe.
This is good football.
Coordination yabadde lacking awo kubanga gye twayize engeri right fullback ne left fullback wafuna omupiira bastrike balina okuleeta space so ababiri babadde tebabaddewo ate omunga yaliwo sobola obuzibu obubaddewo naye ekikulu kya byonna nebaza Katonda okulaba nga tufunye win.
Loss etukostinze nnyo kubanga twali twalidde wano nga tumanyi wetutandikira naye kati tumanyi empiira egiddako tugenda okutandika okubalira obwambaala.
Bwetyo ey'olwaleero NTV akawungezi bwegenze tusinkane nate enkya ssaawa zezimu tukutuuseeko ate ebinaaba biddiridde. Nze Farida tubaagaliza birungi byereere mweraba.
NTV, turning on your world.
Program Guide.
Today's highlight with
New geisha with extracts from Mother Nature.
Veronica, I wanted to apologize
Those
about the
medical
other day.
examiners that you'd hired, contact them again. Tell them you've got a job for them.
What do you want to do?
I want to prove a theory. Let's see if Valentina's grandma died of natural causes. Or if our old friend Gertrudis helped her out.
My mom always wants what's best for us. That's why she uses new geisha with extracts from nature. New geisha with extracts from Mother Nature.
And the change of government won't stop a thing. I've run out of fingers counting the number of multinationals setting up here. What about the 3 companies that announced their plans to launch last week? I say there shortly. Me, I'd be looking to sell. At what price? More. Much, much more.
Including and not limited to swimming pools.
There's something I saw in the monitor. It is slightly ahead. We'll probably get to it. Something that irked me a little bit. You're talking about pensions, and there is a man. This story is slightly ahead. A teacher's tale. This is a teacher who's gone without pay for 5 years. I understand. You know, this is wrong. It is not right that somebody executes a job and for 5 years you are not paying them. That's the epitome of unpatriotism.
But I think the epitome of patriotism is someone going 1 month without being paid and they are not complaining. Then it becomes 6 months, then it becomes 1 year, then it becomes 2 years, then it clocks to 5 years. And that's when their story is playing out for the first time. I am asking myself, even those who get paid religiously still find that their income is much lower than their expenditure. What about those who don't actually get paid at all? How do they survive? And that is something that is worth looking into. Well, there we have it. Now, the United States of America, who are sending their top dog commandos and top-of-the-range helicopters to hunt down a non-existential threat coming in from Joseph Kony in the Central African Republic, have cut funding to tourism and also the Religious Council. Take it, folks. Take it. Take it even further away.
And let's say that to, of course, the anti-gay law now. But look, many times we have seen lots of happenings here in our country when there's violence meted out against, you know, the citizenry and so many other not so democratic happenings. Yeah, not much is said. Yeah, but when the anti-gay law is in place, they make noise as if it is one of the most grotesque things to happen to this good country.
Right. Well, the Daily Monitor this morning is reporting over 60 Rwandans who have been arrested by the Ugandan police for illegal entry into Uganda. And this is playing out in the southwestern district of Kabale. I thought that the movement of Rwandans and Ugandans, especially around that hemisphere, is almost...
East African community.
Is almost, you know, unchecked. People just keep crossing. And when you look at the pictures of these arrested people, they could pass for any ordinary Muchiga any day. But well, that is just according to my eye. The police is in better position to tell us as to why they are saving us from the influx of these 60 Rwandan nationals. Well, interesting. The Daily Monitor is taking it by the horns. Remember the proposals by the minister, or should I say by government, to have media practitioners pay a fee to belong and be able to practice without any form of hindrance. Well, the Daily Monitor is coming up strong with an editorial saying, drop media fees proposal. You get yourself a copy of the Daily Monitor and find out why Uganda's leading independent daily is against or is calling on government to simply drop this idea.
You know, the government and especially the president has come out again and again to warn the media. An example would be in January 2013 when he was commissioning the Kabalega Power Station, that's Wambavia River in Hoima district. The president was not amused with the media. He said, look, when I'm doing some good things like commissioning power stations and so on, you don't write about these things. Yeah, your media houses, radio stations, print media, etc., whatever they concentrate on is cheap politicking and that kind of thing. And he promised to do something. And he's promised to do something about the media on several occasions. Could this be one of those now that media houses are going to be compelled to air out patriotic messages from government officials? Now, individual members of the media, journalists, are going to have to fork out certain monies, and even when you have the money, there could be times when you will not be registered if you're seen as unfriendly, and this is not good, because you see, for the democratic yardstick, if you like, of any country is the way its media is treated, how freely the media expresses themselves. Now, that's not to say we should be errant in the way we execute our duties, but there's need for some breathing space, for the media especially, if we are to grow.
And when you say some breathing space, you're saying that in Uganda there is no breathing space whatsoever?
There is breathing space, but we need a lot more. It's not as enough as it should. You do not want to box the media into a corner. The media is the voice of the people. But that said, again, I'm insisting, I need to hasten to add that we need to be responsible, we in the media, and that is why self-regulation is good. You want to regulate yourselves as opposed to being regulated by an interested party, which in this case is the government.
Right. Well, there we have it, in as much as we know that there are many amongst us in the media who are simply wearing the media cloak, but inside us are bona fide politicians and for the most part using media platforms to put across our political views.
Some are business people. They extort money from people. You don't pay me, I'll write this story or air it out. And
exactly. So we have all sorts of characters in the media, but all wearing the innocently unsuspecting veil that media is supposed to have with them. What are you saying in the red paper this morning, Molondo, with regard to the media?
We're looking at the media, and there's a story here. MPs said they felt betrayed by Vision Group CEO Kabushenga. And so the president responded, "Leave that to me, I'll handle that boy. Who does he think he is? I know him very well and I'll surely sort him out."
Now, as you people always call it, Zabike. In the next magazine, that is, of course, your feature magazine in the Daily Monitor, Justice. What's the current state of the judiciary in Uganda? An interesting peek into how really justice works. Is it for everybody or is it for a select few? Then, of course, there is Seeds of Gold, how to harness that land on which you are standing to make a killing as opposed to folding your arms and crying out to government to help you and put bread on your table. There's also your Homes Pull Out that, you know, gives you an insight on how to make the best of a domicile for yourself. Are you living in a home that's worth living in? Are you short on ideas of how to make your home a habitable place? This is what this pull-out does offer to you. And it's in the Daily Monitor this morning. What we have, again, further in the Observer.
The Observer, there's somebody here who is giving advice for Uganda over 8 cuts. One thing is for sure, these 8 cuts are not about to cease. We're going to see a lot more, because we decided that we are going to have an anti-gay law in place, which I, in my opinion, think it's good. Although, of course, the other day I think we were looking at people in one of the dailies talking about the Christian community saying, now we are going to overwhelmingly vote for the president because he has passed the anti-gay law. And I thought, I mean, he has assented to it. And I thought, wait a minute. For starters, our displeasure towards homosexuality is inherently built, you know, culturally. And again, even then, the penal code did have quite a bit to say about homosexuality. And so for us to think that His Excellency the President did God and this good country a favor by assenting to this bill, and therefore Christians are saying, okay, now we are behind you, and because you have done a good thing for us. Yes, he's done a good thing, and I think we're blowing it out of proportion, maybe.
But let me ask you, Joel, do you actually think that this bill was signed largely to answer the moral question of the day, or it was signed largely to sort out the political question of the day?
It could be a bit of both, and we will be talking about the latter which you're talking about. You know, now the Christian community is saying, yes, this is the man. I'm a Christian, but I'm disappointed when Christians begin to reason that way.
What do you think was President Museveni's motivation to pass, to send to this law? Do you think it was out of the fact that he so much cares about the moral high ground of the society called Uganda, and the country where all forms of crimes are committed, including not limited to bestiality, including limited to theft. Also lies, philandering, all sorts of crazy things happen in this country. And he's waking up to sign an anti-homosexuality bill. Come on, that would have been the list of his considerations. But looks like he was looking more at the political benefits and dividends he was going to accrue from this. And there you are, you're already seeing a huge block of Christians saying they're going to back him. And let's not forget that this country is largely Christian.
And as a Christian, I'm disappointed if that's all the reason there is for you to support a candidate. Look, if it looks like a dog, barks like one, walks like one, it most probably is. President Museveni is a politician.
President Museveni is a dog?
And no, that's just metaphorically used. He is a politician, yeah? So at the end of the day, whatever he does should be politically calculated. But that, you know, when it's all said and done, some of us are happy that now our moral fiber is being slowly but surely being put to shape, irrespective of his reasons for doing it anyway.
Right. Simon, a very good focus here in the red paper, and this would be a very good read for all of you. Secretary Generals that menace party chairman have been named, even in the past. Of course, Ken Ruchamuzi, who went on later to be the Conservative Party chairman. Cecilia Ogwal was Secretary General in 1996 when she led the unsuccessful Uganda House coup against exiled Milton Obote. Maria Mutagamba in 1990. Also, you know, Tomboy, Aggressive Bingira, Kakonge, all of those.
And you realize that many of those were unsuccessful.
Yes. Absolutely. So there's not been any Secretary General of a party that has actually ascended the top dog, and that's
precisely because the way our parties are architected, they are usually around the founder, the chairman, and the party revolves around that person. It's very difficult to unseat them or to even pose a threat anyway.
Well, there you are, perhaps the Right Honorable Prime Minister Mambabazi may turn the tide of things. After all, he's been taunted as a man of many fasts. With that, we come to the end of our press review this morning. When we come back, it will be the big story, bigger and always better, as we delve into the goings on in what makes it to the top of our priorities with regard to what is trending in the story war. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Every idea we have begins with you. The way you connect.
Good morning.
How you browse. How you share. And how you interact with the world around you.
Your relationship with your God is the most important thing. Have a company of people who have got a similar mindset. How do you want people to think, feel, and act after you talk? In other words, what's your objective?
You inspire everything. Because in the end, innovation doesn't really matter unless it does something that really matters to you. And we are HTC.
You and I ever gonna have a chance to be sisters?
You want the baby to have my name?
Would that be okay?
Son, I'm happy you came. Yes, especially since I thought you were shunning all things Newman. I have my own reasons for showing up.
What did you say about him?
I'm sorry, attempted rape.
Okay, look, whatever you think you know about him, you don't know his heart.
If there is a way to make me feel more miserable, you will instinctively find it.
You gave up the one woman you loved, and now you're having a hard time figuring out how to move on?
I can't imagine who would want to hurt a good man like you.
You know, investments in any sector actually go to the right places. That is why in the allocation pillar, we are not just saying increase money to education sector, but in particular areas like teachers' welfare, like, you know, quality education.
And also infrastructure.
Infrastructure, exactly. So this becomes an important campaign that government everywhere has identified. So whether in Kalangala, in Katakwi, wherever we are making this point to ordinary citizens so that the whole debate about tax is something that is owned by local people.
He couldn't have said it more aptly. Let's take a short break. When we return, it's my assertion of what he has shared with us this morning.
Very good point.
You know, it's been taunted left, right, and center. This famous statement quoted of a former American president who looked his citizens in the face and said, ask not what America has done for you. Ask what you have done for America. Ask not what Uganda can or has done for you. Ask what you can and what you have done for Uganda. And the only way possible you can do something for your country, for it to be able to do something for you, is at least honor your side of the bargain by being responsible being such a responsible citizen as to pay your taxes. However, if you're not a citizen in the sense of an individual, but you're a corporate citizen, whether multinational or uninational or dinational, whatever it is that you want to call yourself, to what extent are you being a responsible corporate citizen in that country where you are operating and earning your money? Are you compliant? Are you paying your taxes to the extent to which you should be paying them? Or are you also involved in the underhand, behind the curtains dealings that sometimes spell the word corruption in bold letters? But if you're a government, like we have everywhere in the world, and very specifically in Uganda, to what extent do you ensure that you receive as much tax from people operating here, and to what extent do you allocate that tax to the priority areas for the good of your citizens? And after the allocation, to what extent do you ensure that the money you've allocated actually goes to those sectors which you have allocated them to be? It's a long chain of activities that starts from personal and individual responsibility to the responsibility of the state. And at the end of the day, if we have every brick along the way right and to the point, then we will not be having such campaigns as Black Monday castigating you for corruption, or people like myself telling you in your face that you are an irresponsible citizenry that's not paying tax to your government directly, and therefore you have no moral high ground to demand for any social services. So if we must be a citizenry that should put government to the task of providing to us those much needed social amenities like health, education, mention it, we must be a citizenry that honors our side of the bargain and, of course, pay our taxes. Now, for civil society, many times people look at you as those who are simply trumpeting the voice or the whims and fancies of he that pays you. And for the most part, you are paid by people from neither. So many times people look at your advocacy with a pinch of salt. Now, when it comes to you saying that where government is right or should be better for the citizens of this country, you will buttress them. I think that is the kind of message that Ugandans want to listen more from you, as opposed to civil society that for the most part seems to be engaged in political agitation without much result. Have a wonderful morning. This morning at NTV, we continue giving you quality programming. Don't go away.
What's that?
That document.
Oh, that. Just some business.
I came to apologize. I have no right to interfere in your lives.
I've eliminated the only evidence that links me to Ivan Chinawa's death.
But you didn't have to kill another person.
It's not like I've got anything to hide, Nene. Just go ahead.
Victoria, how is it like to work for Miles Filagazi?
Blood seemed to matter not.
Blood?
Yeah, blood.
I'm responsible for your father's death.
You can bring everybody in parliament as long as they can wake up and vote for the NRM.
As long as the voters exercise their rights to elect their leaders, there was no need for term limits in Uganda.
I know him. I know how he operates. I know how he thinks.
There are ways you can go around these obstacles.
Why should I conduct myself as if I am Muyai?
It's absolutely true. I admired President Museveni.
Is the ICC a fiscal code targeting African leaders?
You cannot tell me that the whole trouble Kenya had revolved about only two individuals.
The money is not in the budget of this financial year.
You can't beat God. You see, God is polygamous also. Look at Jeremiah chapter 31.
The security of this country will largely depend on the contribution that the people make.
Oluvannyuma lwa lutalo abaana bangi batwalibwa ab'ekika era bulabe basigadde
abamu bajja ne babakima
era twagenda mu Lukola eyo nakasongola mu Buluri twagenda mu Butale Babalaaro okubuuza omwana oyo mumanyi
nti mukwate obutonde obwekonkome mukwate obutonde bwa Ebola mubuteeke mu nsigo omuzungu ayogedde parliament muyise bosi basajja
omulembe guno gutuusemu n'abantu n'entondo kati waliwo n'emyaka egy'entondo waliwo yakiŋŋamba bamugamba muŋŋambe bulungi kati munkwate empola dokita buli akwata bayibuli eno ajja kusomera bintu nga ye bw'alowooza. For example, waliwo controversy yaliwo
tobeera mu suuti ate ng'oteekamu gandula
olina kubeerako kimu.
Kubanga okusomesezza tumaze emyaka 2 tusomesa bannayuganda eddembe lyammwe mulimanyi oluusi n'obusobozi obulina.
Nakulabira Abaganda baagala Kabaka.
I was going to my hall, someone came from my back and was
how tugenda okwebaka ekiro yanga mwami omanyi olakeko nange omulundi gw'ogusembayo.
I went to the nursery and asked why is it that our father is negative and for us we are positive.
Every time I find a story of assault of one person to another, I get disturbed.
Mwayombye ekiro lwaleeta suzeewo lwe bakwokezza naze poza kimu nti mujja wange yanjokezza.
Kino ekyafa kino kyali kyakulira muno mu lubuto.
The Irene I know just loves music and loves to sing. I've never seen her even smoke a cigarette.
The days of legal trade in slaves are history, following its abolition in the 1800s.
They tie you like this. That's when I started getting past.
Everybody has a story, but yours will only become our story when you share it.
Running out of airtime can happen to anyone. The next time you recharge, simply dial *161# to get going again.
On the next episode of La Patrona.
She's gone from lunatic to psychic.
You fool! You've probably already seen me naked.
No. I may be depraved and a peeping Tom. Well, maybe with others, but not with you. I respect you.
I know you're still watching me, Vampa.
You have to help me. Something's happening to Valentina. That lunatic Antonio Guerra wants to take her inheritance.
Hold on. How do you know that Antonia wants Valentina's inheritance?
When she told Senator Villegas, she's really upset because Alejandro's hired a lawyer. He wants to try and stop her because she can't
Calm
yell
down.
at you.
He didn't use me. And if he did, then I used him too. Ricardo, there's something that I have to tell you.
La Patrona.
At Orange, we know that running out of airtime can happen to anyone. That's why we bring you Wetase. Simply dial *161# to get going again. Convenience changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
You're watching Morning at NTV with Simon Kasiate, Mabel Kebirunji, and Brian Molondo.
To you, ladies and gentlemen, it's exactly 8 minutes after 8, and thank you so much for staying with us this morning. If you're joining us in your office, at home, or online, youtube.com/NTV Uganda /live. And this hour is definitely going to be also power-packed. We'll have the CEO of Medical Concierge in the house, Dr. Davis Musinguzi. But before the break, we were talking about why Uganda is giving multinational companies more tax incentives and definitely neglecting the local business people. And many of you have your comments on Facebook and Twitter. You can also add your comment or suggestion or question to our SMS platform, that is 6565. A quick look at your tweets at Yahweh Andrew, saying the press review was quite refreshing, and Charles Ibanda at Babandak saying, watching in at Morning at NTV, but craving for that NTV Uganda mug. Good morning, people. All right, you can grab one of these if you answer a question of the day every morning. The first 5 respondents will each walk away. That Jeffrey Richards definitely saying, the next time I'm in Uganda, I'll have to pick up a mug. All right, and at DV_VAR saying Morning at NTV, hashtag the big story. All right, our handle is at Morning at NTV. Follow us there, and you can be one of the many people that comment on this show. 945 people following us. You can also be the next follower. At Morning at NTV is the handle. You can tag me at MBGold2, at Kasiata Joel Senyunya, at Mebkeb, at Dakaba Chigongo to get the latest. And Mabel is standing by at the International Conference Center. But before we head there, here's a look at your traffic report. Good morning.
They lack that incisiveness when they got right in the final third. For me, Man City could have come to Old Trafford and played when they were going forward. Probably when they gave United the ball, everyone should have stood in their place because United were not doing anything with it. Probably David Moyes, and everyone will go back how tactically poor he was. Probably no one thinks Tom Cleverley should have played in the middle. He barely doesn't. He doesn't pass square, doesn't pass backward, doesn't win you the ball. But on the other hand, when you're saying United is so poor, City was brilliant. From the moment when they got that first goal in the first minute from Edin Dzeko, it looked like the game was done. For me, it looked like the game was done because I said it here yesterday that the only chance United stand against City, they've got to start well. That start well was to score a goal. The moment City scored, you already knew they would just raise the tempo and score again. And then they got the second, and then they got the third. You start to think at Man City, this team means business. I went for Chelsea to win the league, but Man City are right there in the conversation. They're just 3 points behind with 2 games in hand. And they knew they had to win. They knew they had to win this one. This is one of those 3 games in hand. Knowing that they traveled to Arsenal on Saturday, this was the game they had to win. So, for United, again, another load in the career of David Moyes. And at this point, I start feeling that probably even I, who is an apologist for everyone who is at the bottom, I need to lift them up. And I could be quite an apologist for David Moyes. If I just went and sat down in my room alone, I would come out with 100 reasons why David Moyes has done better than I expected. At this point, I think they've got to get rid of him. They've got to get rid of him.
He wins one game.
He wins one.
Yes.
And he's in the Champions League. I'll sack Wenger than Moyes. He's going to lose by 4 goals to 1 at Munich, so he's not even in the Champions League. Why do you say that? Bayern are much better. But then, on the other hand, is that why we all angry about the Vilnius? Because we've never lived through a generation when United are not successful. Right. When we've all grown up in an era of Sir Alex Ferguson, probably half of the world's population is under 28. I've seen a UN research on that. That means that everyone in the world knows Manchester United win. No one has experienced this. Even if I was there in Stansted, the last time United got relegated, they lost 7 games at home. No one has experienced that United got relegated in 1974. So everything, all the laws we know about United have come in the months of David Moyes.
But there's change. I mean, most of our fathers support Liverpool, and we're wondering why would anyone support Liverpool? But people, let's say above 50, 60, they never saw a Liverpool, that is the 5th, 6th at the table. So now you have seen a certain, your sons are going to see, I don't know, maybe
that is 14.
That will be at the top. Yeah, so...
Mulema Dixon, Isma, where do you see the title going now, basing on yesterday's result? I think it's a 2-horse race. When Liverpool play tonight at the host stand, and I expect Liverpool to win at least a 4-goal margin, it's got to be Chelsea and City. But right now, City are looking like champions. They play with a bit of swag that makes you feel like City will be champions sooner rather than later. Right. Brian, Arsenal needs more players, but Manu is worse than Ghana Cranes. Okay, that's below the belt. But Arsenal lost they dropped 2 vital points there. Right. I thought when they came from a goal down and scored those 2 goals, those 2 quick fire goals, from a goal down to lead 2-1, they should have got the result, and that should be the disappointment. And you could almost feel it around the Emirates that when the final whistle went, Arsene Wenger stayed there. Standing without talking to anyone. That's a game he should have won. That's a game he should have won. Most of the fans stayed glued to their seats because Arsenal should have won this game. Right. Probably at the moment when Olivier Giroud scored the second, everyone was feeling how many will Arsenal put past them. Yeah. Then they don't get a third, and then consider an own goal in the 90th minute. Matthew Flamini, the unlucky party here. So sometimes when there are certain things that you can't explain that tactically they didn't do this. There are certain things that we cannot even measure the amount of luck that is in sport because everyone thinks to be lucky you must be in the right place. Probably Swansea should first of all get to the box like Leon Brighton did. Then the ball hits Flamini's shin and goes in. But this was as unlucky as the Arsenal have been this season. That's a game they should have won. It's a game they should have won.
They can't afford to lose.
They couldn't afford to lose. And knowing that their next game is they are going to win the title. Now they've got to beat City on Saturday. They've got to beat City. There is no second way about that. Which is going to be a hard game. Which is going to be a very hard game. But Arsenal know how to beat up on City. That's one thing you should bank on. But probably like at the end of the game, I know all these commentators like just my fingertips. Gary Kappa said, "This is the day when the curtain fell on Arsenal's title challenge." And that was it. I think for me that's why I was really gunning for Man United to win this game because I kind of thought, I kind of expected Swansea to bring a tough game. Yeah, and I was very shocked that we were 2-1 and then alas, the curtain fell. Yeah. All right, Stephen, someone was saying, I am a Man U supporter, but I want that club to be beaten until we see the problem.
And this is the problem. But Brian, while United are here mourning and groaning, one of the biggest institutions of European football, like United, are champions in Germany with 7 games to spare. Bayern Munich.
The best in the business.
The best team right now. No one has a doubt about that. For me, the conversation should be how great is this Bayern side. The one side trophies last season. And I thought last night against Hertha Berlin, they set out to play the way you're supposed to play when you're going to win the league. And when you're going to win the league on that very day.
Yeah.
Especially that Pep Guardiola does not fancy playing an out-and-out striker. So they're very flat on the front. But then they go in and get 2 quick fire goals. I think Mario got among the goals in the 7th minute. His 7th goal. He wins inside the first 15 minutes. And after Mario got that, I didn't think Hertha Berlin had a chance. But for me, it was inevitable. And I predict Bayern to go and win last 8 games by 4 goals to 1. Eventually, Frank Ribery getting the third as the one that game by 3 goals to 1. But for me now, the challenge for Bayern is a possibility that they have only 5 games to the end of the season. They win those 5. They'll become the first league to be able to defend the champions since it changed its name in 1992. Because the last thing to do this was AC Milan back in 89 and 90. And ever since they changed the name in 1992, teams have gone to the final on more than one occasion. AC Milan went to the final in 2 years. They won one and lost the other 5. Juventus in the final in 1996, 97 and 98. They only won the first one in 96 because they lost to Dortmund in 97 and then lost to Real Madrid in 1998. So this is an opportunity like no other for Bayern Munich players. They have over 2 months to prepare for just those 5 games. Wow. One of them that is at a venue. While Philip Lam thinks that Man United are better than their position, I don't know how many people right now in the world, whether they've been introduced to the game or newborn babies, who think Manchester United can knock out Bayern Munich. I don't know how many people think. So they've got to go into that game and play like a cup final. If they do that, and Pep Guardiola, I know, is a perfectionist, the hungry glutton of football. He reminds me of Sir Alex Ferguson in every word. He knows that he has to go and beat United. If he does that and gets to the quarterfinals, whereas to the semi-finals, there's a big possibility that this Bayern side could defend the Champions League. I don't think they will, but they have a big chance.
Well, Champions League cricket at David Mwonge Bagzi, I get your message, and you're saying Brian is itching to talk about Man United. For the first time, I was not, I can tell you the truth, because I was very disappointed. Ismail Yoran, apologies for Moyes. And
I'm an apologist for everyone. That one I will not. For every sportsman who is not doing well. Right. I always find an excuse why they're not
for them. Well, you can catch more of this at 1:30 p.m. on Omumuli with Isma, Lumanse and Alan, and Sports Bar also coming to you live from the Club Silk, 10:30 p.m. every Monday. Before we head out, your African proverb. This one is from Ghana. An army of sheep led by a lion can defeat an army of lions led by a sheep.
Yeah, I've heard that, by the way.
Sorry?
An army of sheep led by a lion
yes.
Is more dangerous, I think, than
an army of lions led by a sheep.
Actually, the first person to tell me that that African proverb is called John Torach. I do work with him on the radio and locker room. And he used this in reference to David Moyes and Sir Alex Ferguson.
Right.
And actually, he had altered it and said, a flock of sheep led by a lion, in this case Sir Alex Ferguson, is more dangerous than a pride of lions led by a sheep. This sheep becomes David Moyes.
Wow.
Because when you have a leader with a strong character, when you order people to do things, they don't have to be that strong in terms of character. Probably if the leader do it.
Best ever stain removal with fabric conditioner freshness.
running out of airtime can happen to anyone. The next time you recharge, simply dial *161# to get going again.
On the next episode of La Patrona.
She's gone from lunatic to psychic.
You fool! You've probably already seen me naked.
No. I may be depraved and a peeping Tom. Well, maybe with others, but not with you. I respect you.
I know you're still watching me, Vampa.
You have to help me. Something's happening to Valentina. That lunatic Antonio Guerra wants to take her inheritance.
Hold on. How do you know that Antonia wants Valentina's inheritance?
When she told Senator Villegas, she's really upset because Alejandro's hired a lawyer. He wants to try and stop her because she can't
Calm
get
down.
jail.
He didn't use me. And if he did, then I used him too. Ricardo, there's something that I have to tell you.
La Patrona.
At Orange, we know that running out of airtime can happen to anyone. That's why we bring you Wetase. Simply dial *161# to get going again. Convenience changes with Orange. Today changes with Orange.
This program is rated PG. It is suitable for children ages 8 and above, but parental guidance is advised.